the truth beneath your life. You're not as free as you think. Every decision you make, love, rage, desire, fear, has a source. A force older than language, older than civilization. It's not culture. It's not personality. It's survival programming written by your ancestors. Millions of years old. Still active. Still shaping you. Why do you crave beauty? Why does rejection feel like death? Why do some lies hurt more than a punch? Because your mind is a weapon forged in Ice Age warfare. It tracks status, measures threat, calculates mates and rivals. And it never stops. Evolutionary psychology is the map to this machinery. It doesn't guess. It explains. Why you love. Why you cheat. Why you fight. Why you stay. David Buss didn't romanticize human nature. He exposed it. Love as strategy. Sex as signal. Jealousy as defense. This isn't philosophy. It's code. And you are still running it, every hour of every day. Now it's time to see it. To understand it. And to decide who's really in control. You. Or your instincts. David Buss, master of human mating psychology. Who is he? David M. Buss. Born April 14, 1953. One of the most influential evolutionary psychologists alive. He is a professor at the University of Texas at Austin. He reshaped how we understand love, sex, and jealousy. Evolutionary psychology explained. Our minds didn't come from nowhere. They evolved over millions of years. In the Ice Age past, decisions meant life or death. Our brains carry that past into today. Behaviors that helped ancestors survive and reproduce were passed on. Now, we carry those same mental programs. Key mental systems shaped by evolution. A fear of danger. A jealousy in relationships. A memory for social betrayal. A desire for high-status partners. An obsession with beauty and youth. David Buss focused on one thing: how evolution shaped human mating. The 1989 cross-cultural study. Over 10,000 people. Across 37 cultures. A landmark. He asked, what do men and women want in a partner? Women preferred status, resources, ambition. Men preferred youth, beauty, physical health. Why? Because women bear more cost in reproduction. They carry, feed, and protect the baby. They need support. Men face paternity uncertainty. They want fertility signals, signs the woman can produce healthy children. Youth and beauty point to high fertility. This study proved mate preferences are universal. They're not made by culture. They're built into us by evolution. Jealousy, different for men and women. Buss found the pain of infidelity hits differently. Men suffer more from sexual infidelity. Why? They risk raising another man's child. Women suffer more from emotional infidelity. They fear their man's resources and attention will shift. This isn't theory. It's backed by experiments. Ask men and women. Which is worse? Your partner having sex with someone else? Or falling in love with them? Men choose sex. Women choose love. It's biological. Mate retention strategies. Keeping a partner wasn't easy in prehistoric times. Competition was fierce. Reproduction was everything. People developed tactics to keep mates. A guarding, constantly watching them. Inducements, gifts, flattery, sex. Punishments, jealousy, threats, violence. These aren't random behaviors. They are adaptive. They worked for our ancestors. They still play out today, in silence, in shadow. Sexual strategies theory. With David Schmidt, Buss proposed a model. Humans use both short-term and long-term mating plans. Short-term strategies. Men lean toward multiple partners. It's a path to spreading genes. Women use it differently, to seek genetically strong offspring. Long-term strategies. Both sexes do it. Women want commitment and provision. Men want fidelity and fertility. This flexibility gave humans an edge. We became strategists. The dark triad and sex. Buss studied dark traits, ones we often fear. Narcissism. Machiavellianism. Psychopathy. People high in these traits exploit short-term mating. They use charm, lies, manipulation. They don't invest. They conquer. These traits exist for a reason. They may have worked, in dark ways, to spread genes. Evolution doesn't care about morality. Only success. Books that shaped the field. The Evolution of Desire. A blueprint of human mating. Filled with data, stories, cross-cultural truth. The murderer next door. Yes, even murder has evolutionary roots. Jealousy, betrayal, survival. When men behave badly, raw, brutal, and honest. It explores conflict between the sexes, and how it's wired deep in our DNA. Criticisms of the field. Some say, it ignores culture. It's hard to test. It's used to excuse behavior. But Buss argues, explaining a behavior doesn't excuse it. Understanding roots helps us control them. His legacy. He didn't just study love. He studied the primal war behind it. Made evolutionary psychology global. Linked biology to behavior. Changed how we see sex, jealousy, violence. He showed that beneath every text message, every flirt, every breakup, lies ancestral strategy. David Buss ripped off the masks. He showed us the truth beneath modern relationships. It's not just romance. It's reproduction. It's strategy. It's survival. This is human nature. It's brutal, beautiful, and Buss showed it to us in cold, clear light. Why evolutionary psychology changes everything. This isn't just theory. It's the code behind your every move, every choice, every fear, every desire. You think you're in control, but something older is pulling strings in the dark. Something ancient, something relentless. Dating, desire, obsession. Why do certain faces freeze you in your tracks? Why does silence from a lover feel like you're dying? Why do you crave beauty, power, attention? Because your mind is built to mate, built to select, built to survive. A jealousy exists to keep your partner close. Breakups mimic loss of life, because back then, they were. You chase looks and youth, not by choice, but because your brain sees fertility. What you call type is hardwired strategy. Friends. Betrayal. Status. Why does gossip spread like fire? Why does betrayal cut so deep? Because in ancient times, rejection meant isolation. and isolation meant death. Your brain is wired for tribes, for alliances, for approval. Even your social media addiction, it's your instinct screaming for rank and recognition, ambition, dominance, control. Why do you want more? More status, more power, more wins? Because your ancestors who had more survived. More mates, more food, more strength. That late night grind, that's your biology screaming, climb higher. That craving for respect, it's not ego, it's evolutional insurance. Success meant legacy, and your brain remembers. Anger, fear, obsession. These aren't mood swings. They're ancient alarms. Anger is your brain declaring war to defend what's yours. A fear is your inner radar screaming, danger is close. A jealousy is a survival reflex, honed over millennia. You're not weak. You're operating an ancient survival engine. The most shocking truth. You think you're choosing, but most of what you do comes from voices long dead. Your ancestors, their battles, their fears, their instincts. That gut feeling in the dark, that's the shadow of a predator. That jolt of attraction, that's your brain scanning for genetic advantage. That rage when betrayed, that's evolutionary justice. You are haunted, not by ghosts, but by strategies that kept your bloodline alive. How this gives you power. When you know what drives you, you don't just feel, you understand. You break free from cycles that aren't even yours. You stop blaming yourself for instincts you didn't choose. You learn to control the mind you inherited. That's not weakness. That's intelligence. That's evolution, with your hands on the wheel. The final truth. You aren't here by accident. You are the product of survivors, warriors, lovers, fighters. Their instincts built your brain. Their fears still live in your veins. But now you know. Now you can choose. Understand the code. And you don't just live. You win.